I've opened up the Thinkwave window, and I'm going up here to File because I have two courses. And I click here, Open File, and I see the one I'm in is the UB for Fall, and then I also have UNH for Fall, but I'm going to be in UB for Fall. And I click OK. Now I could have just clicked on Classes here. That would have opened up in the two classes that I have, and there they are, section 16 and 17. So I'm back to the home page, and I want to set up my classes so that I can input the grades and have them give me the average as I move toward midterm grades and then later end of term grades. So I'm going to go to the bar up here that's called, or a tab, Grading. I click on Grading. A drop-down menu comes up and it says Assignments. So I click on that. So it gives me this little chart where I can put the type of assignments I'm going to use for grading. Now, homework, yes, we're going to use homework. We're going to use tests. We're going to use quizzes. I'm going to uncheck paper, uncheck projects. We eventually will have a final. We're not having any midterm exams, but we do have a notebook. So I have these four that I'm going to use, but I don't see a notebook here. So what I do is I go to Custom Assignments, and it gives me a new page here in a sense. I'm going to click on one, and I'm going to type in Notebooks. So I've set up my 5 categories that I'm going to use for grading, and then I just click OK. Now, one other thing I should add while we go back to the tab Grading, that if I click on Advanced, it says I can throw out, later we're going to throw out one test grade at the end of the term, but not yet. Okay. Okay, we're back to our home page, and now we want to go to Classes. So I click on Classes, and these are, of course, the roster. We want to go to Weighting. So we click on Weighting and use Assignment Type Weighting. So right now all the assignments have equal value. But we're saying homework is 10%. So we bring it down here to, by just clicking and dragging to 10%. Test will be 40%. So we click that, drag it out to 40%. Now quizzes are 10%. This is the beauty of this. The final is 20. And the final is actually 30. Here we go. And there is our layout of our profile of what the grades will be like. Now, whenever we are setting up our homework assignments to put in grades, they will automatically be weighted. And if we haven't had the final, which we don't have till the end of the course, these other categories will make up the 100%. It does that automatically. So that was for section 16. If I click on 17 and I go Weighting now, I have to do that one as well. So you can do each class differently, but all our classes are the same. So I'll do that. So I've done this now for this other section. All right, now I'm going to click on Test and Assignments. Let's go back to this class, though. We have to do this for both sections. Now, as this opens up, Test and Assignments, you see, I haven't made any assignments yet. So I'm going to go here for New Assignments. And what I like to do is I go in this box here where the blue is. So I sort of keep them in order. I go 01 is my first assignment. And it's going to be quiz. And you could just put a Q there. 01. Well, let's not use 01 because it was on section 1.1. There we go. Now we then have to put our category in. And that's quiz. And we're going to use points. Let's see, what else could we have here? Percentage. Yeah, let's use percentage then. There's no curve. No, I changed my mind. I'm going to use points. And then I just put in there the points that the quiz will have. It says 10 here. I'm going to make it 100. There's no extra credit. Now, I could put the proper due date here. See, it's giving me today's date, but the actual date of this was the 28th. So that was good. Now I go in and do a new assignment. And I'm going to call this 02 quiz. And it's on 1.2. And it's holding that it's a quiz type. Again, it's 100 points. Now this way, if you put in 110, the extra credit's already built in. And this was on the 30th. Now the dates are not critical, but it helps to keep things in order. So I'm going to put in all of my 7 quizzes that I've done so far. So I put in a few more, and I looked up, and this is the nice part about it. Here, when I put in the test, I forgot to change the type. So I'm going to click on this one, and instead of a quiz, I have to get the drop-down menu here and make this a test. And then I hadn't put in the 100. I forgot that, so I have to put in 100 there. And I think the date might be off. But notice, as soon as you go to the next item, it updates. And this is all being saved as you change things. All right, so I have here the date assigned, which is incorrect. This was, I believe, on the 11th. There you go. And this one, and you can just change them. 11, this is the 13th. And this one was the 18th. And I'll do one more live here. So a new assignment. This is going to be 08. It's going to be a quiz. And this was 2.3. And notice quiz is there now. I'm going to change this to 100. And then the date of this quiz was the 20th. Okay, so my dates now are pretty accurate. My record type here is quizzes, and we had one test. Now I haven't put in a notebook grade, because that's going to be like one grade. And as we get toward the midterm, I will be putting in a grade for midterm. And then later I can modify that grade for the end of term, because I'm not going to keep putting in specific grades. But what do we do now? Well, again, you're going to do the other class similar to this, and if you do it a little bit each week, it's not a lot of work. You have to take 20 minutes, 30 minutes every once in a while to update your files. But I'm going to click now on Assignment 1, and I'm going to say Record Result is one thing. It looks like this, where you have to put the scores in here. I don't like that. I like it Grid View, where there they are. Now I go to my little sheet, and notice that I had a student that came in toward the end here. So I just stuck a Z in front of her name because I added to my roles without having to do the whole roles again. So now I go to my keyboard and I just put in an 80 there, and enter, and 100, 110, 80, 100. Now, this person was not there for the first class, came in late. So I don't want to leave it empty. I'm going to just hit the E button, and it's excused, so that grade doesn't count at all. 110, 105, and then another excused, a 35, 100, 50, 90. I'm just going down the list. And then every once in a while I check to be sure I'm on the right spot. Yep. 90, 100, 90, 20, 100, 20, 90, 100, and then excused. So the excused don't count, and I'm wondering what's going on here. Clark. So I'll have to check this. And sometimes if you go too fast, you need to check it. Okay, I'm not sure what happened in this first row here, but I was saying things, and when I looked, it wasn't quite registering. So you have to check your work. And often I don't look at the names. I just put my finger on the score 80 and then go down the list. And since my order of names here is the same as my student worksheet that I have, it's, we just put the grades in. Now, as we see, this person actually did get a 0 on the quiz. And here, this person was absent, but showed me the notes. Okay? The rule is if you show me the notes that look adequate, then I don't count the quiz in your average. So I have some more to put in, but I also switched here and went to the page where I have the test scores. So this is the randomness of it. And if you look at this column over here, I look over here and I see it gives me the average of that test. That test average was 78.5. If I go to this column, this was 91.7. This column was also 91.7. That's unusual. This column was 90. And this first one was 82. So it gives you some nice data as you go along. And then if you were to go here to what we call results, it calculates the overall average. Now, since I'm not including attendance here, it's giving us an attendance score. And then if I want to click on this, it gives you it alphabetically as I have it set up. But I can click on that and it'll give me the general average of the students. Now, I haven't thrown out any quizzes yet, but when I do the midterm grades, I would. I'd say throw out a low quiz score, and then the lowest one wouldn't be counted. And I guess for right now, this is running about 15 minutes. This is our tutorial of how to set up the grade book and input your grades. Again, if you do it weekly, then it's not too much of a chore. Otherwise, you got a lot of stuff to put in, and of course when you're setting it up the first time is when it takes the most time. Okay. Well, one other feature. If I go here to Reports, click on Reports, and I go over here to the drop-down menu, I go to Classwork Results. I click on that, and I want to pick this current class here, and I say Generate a Report. And this is what happens. It's generating the reports. And there we have every student. Let's make this a little bigger. Where it lists the quizzes that they've taken, shows the class average, and it shows their end of term grade, or grade up to what you have put in so far. And if you print these out and then cut them up, you can give one to each student to give them a little viewing summary of what their, let's say, midterm grades are. I did that last year. But I didn't have all the individual quizzes listed like I'm doing here. I had just the quiz average, but this is nice. Now, if you are throwing out one grade, what it does is it puts a line through the grade that's not counted. That's a good thing about it as well. Okay, now we'll close.